In this video, we'll cover how to do simultaneous boolean selection of rows and column labels with loc. So we've only been using just the brackets thus far, but we can also use loc to do boolean selection. All right, so here's our bikes data frame. And we could just keep this start time in the index for now. Okay, so before we show this simultaneous boolean selection of rows and columns, I'll just show how you can do boolean selection with just the rows using loc. So let's use our simple trip duration. Let's say we want trip duration is greater than, let's say 10,000 this time. We'll save that to filt. Now with loc, remember that the syntax was rows comma calls. All right. Now before we do rows and calls, we'll just do rows, and you can pass in filt just like this, and it's the same position with just the brackets. It's just the first position that you pass it in, and for just the brackets, it's the only position. But loc is rows comma calls, so this actually makes more sense with loc. It is not so ambiguous like it is with just the brackets, where the first position can select both columns with a single string or multiple columns with a list of strings. Here, filt will filter out the rows as it should. So it's not quite as overloaded as it is with just the brackets. So here I've just selected all of the rows that have rides greater than 10,000. So this is no different than just using filt like this. I should probably do it underneath. Let's do dot head over here. And then bikes, just the normal one. This will do the exact same operation. It's the same thing. Now, the reason why you'd want to use loc is if you wanted to simultaneously select some columns along with those rows. So the square brackets does not allow you to do that, but loc does. So let's say we want to do the filter, but we also want to select, let's just say the gender and trip duration and maybe the events column like that. So again, it's rows comma calls. So for calls, we will use a list of the strings. That's one of the possibilities, which we talked about previously. So here we have filtered out for the same rows, but we're also selecting a subset of the columns like that. So loc is really cool for doing that, and when you're doing those simultaneous row and column selection. All right, let's see one more example over here. Let's find all female riders with trip duration greater than 5,000 when it was cloudy. So we want the female rider, so say gender equals female. And we want the trip duration to be greater than 5,000. And we want to be have the events equal to cloudy like this. So this will be filt like this, and let's just wrap everything in parentheses. So we have that, and we're going to use loc at first. So works the same thing as just the brackets. So we've gotten just these particular rows that meet the condition exactly. So female greater than 5,000 when it was cloudy. Now, you may not want to see all of the data, and that's where loc comes in. Let's just say we just want to double check that the gender, trip duration, and the events are the columns that we cared about. So we're just filtering on those columns. So maybe we just want to see those 3 columns. So it becomes easier to check. And there you go. So that's how you can do simultaneous row and column selection with loc.